Hello. If you're responsible for a supply chain and you'd like more visibility on where your assets are during shipping with the additional ability to measure their temperature to ensure they arrive intact without bulky and expensive GPS trackers, well, you're going to want to stick around because I'm going to share with you how you can accomplish this with a tiny, inexpensive sticker connected to a powerful Internet of Things network service. With a tiny sticker, you can now track your assets in real time and monitor temperature without breaking the bank. And the best part, it's powered by a reliable LoRaWAN technology and is incredibly easy to use. It's also small enough to fit on the tip of your finger. Imagine no more cumbersome and pricey equipment, just simple, efficient, and cost-effective asset and temperature tracking. You don't want to miss out on this revolutionary solution. Say hello to the future of asset tracking, Nanotrack Services. If you've been responsible for shipping temperature-sensitive products for any length of time, you have most likely experienced the damage and losses caused by temperature fluctuations in your supply chain. Nanotrack Services makes it possible to monitor your assets from departure to delivery and all points in between. No more guessing when and where and what went wrong. It's the world's smallest, most affordable, and most versatile location tracker and temperature sensor. And again, it's super easy to use. Just take it out of the box and you're good to go. As you know, monitoring your cargo's temperature during transport is important for many industries. And it's not just a good idea, it's often required by law. But beyond just following the rules, continuously tracking and monitoring the temperature of your cargo can help you proactively identify any quality or safety issues that may arise. It's worth considering if you want to keep your goods in top condition and ensure the safety of your customers. Nanotrack services are versatile across many industries. Here are just a few. Frozen and fresh foods. If you're transporting fresh or frozen goods, you know how important it is to keep the temperature steady. Even the slightest change can affect the safety of the food and ruin your entire stock. But don't worry, Nanotrack Services has got you covered. It'll send you an alert if it detects any temperature changes, so you can avoid ending up with a truckload of spoiled food. We can also help you keep track of the products as they move through the supply chain. For example, a food manufacturer could place nanotags on each package of food, which could then be tracked as it's shipped to a distribution center, then to a retailer, and finally to the consumer. This could help them identify any bottlenecks or issues in the supply chain and make adjustments to improve efficiency. How about wines? Did you know that heat can ruin a good bottle of wine? If the temperature gets above 70 degrees for an extended period of time, it can permanently alter the flavor of the wine. And if it gets much hotter than, say, about 80 degrees, you're actually cooking the wine. Unfortunately, cooked wine can cost distributors an average of $1 to $2 million a year in losses due to a lack of proactive temperature monitoring during transport. That's where early alert systems like Nanotrack Services come into play. They can help you avoid unnecessary costs by letting you know if the temperature gets too high. Nanotrack Services can also help wineries keep track of their inventory more accurately, allowing them to reduce waste and minimize the risk of running out of stock. For example, a winery could track each bottle of wine and monitor inventory levels in real time. This could help them make better purchasing decisions and ensure that they always have enough stock on hand to meet their demand. Nanotrack Services can play a key role in ensuring the authenticity of wine and preventing fraud. By placing nanotags on each bottle of wine, wineries can track the wine from the vineyard to the consumer, making it much more difficult for counterfeiters to replicate. How about pharmaceuticals? Did you know that certain products like blood, stem cells, tissues, transplant organs, and various drugs and vaccines need to be kept within a specific temperature range? Usually between 2 and 8 degrees Celsius, and even as low as minus 80 degrees Celsius in some cases. If the temperature gets too high or too low, these products can become useless or even harmful to patients. That's why it's important to maintain the right temperature level when transporting these goods. Just a few degrees can make a big difference. Nanotrack Services can also help pharmaceutical companies track their products as they move through the supply chain, from the manufacturing facility to the patient. We can also play a key role in preventing counterfeit drugs and improving patient safety. By placing nanotags on each package of medication, pharmaceutical companies can track the product from the manufacturing facility to the patient, making it much more difficult for counterfeiters to replicate the product. Nanotrack Services are powered by LoRaWAN wireless sensors and are globally capable no matter where they are on the map. They work with a powerful cloud-based system that keeps tabs on your stuff. So whether your goods are across town or the globe, you'll always know where and how they're doing. That's pretty handy, right? Wouldn't it be great to discover shipping issues along the way? Have you ever dealt with spoiled goods or product damage and weren't sure what went wrong or where the problem occurred? Again, with a solution such as Nanotrack Services, you can get updates on the temperature of your perishable goods and notifications if the temperature goes outside your personalized criteria. That way, you can stay informed about the condition of your goods and be better prepared to deal with any issues that come up. And if something goes wrong, the device can provide a record of the temperature along the route, so you can see exactly when and where the problem occurred. That can make it easier to figure out which products have likely spoiled and help you determine fault in the event of product damage. All in all, it's a great way to ensure the quality of your goods and protect your bottom line and your company's reputation. To demonstrate, I'm going to show you a scenario where we have partnered with a leading data analytics company, Versalytics, to create an enterprise data pipeline of sensor data. This can be streamed into modern cloud-based databases such as Snowflake, Databricks, and Google BigQuery. This utilizes Senzary's platform. It's easy to go from any IoT device to inside action in minutes, with the confidence to scale from one device to millions. With a nanotag applied to a wine case, we can easily capture the location and temperature of that case of wine as it journeys from a winery in France all the way to the tabletops of a steakhouse in Chicago, Illinois, easily with a nanotag and Nanotrack Services. In this example, we can see the journey of the wine as it leaves the winery. It then travels on an Atlantic Ocean freighter. Here we can start to see some interesting characteristics of this case of wine. We can see the temperature has risen from the mid-70s and got up close to kind of the warming zone for wine at 81 degrees. Luckily, as the freighter continued to travel across the Atlantic, we started to see that the temperature was okay. It was within range. And there's no kind of errors or warnings that we'll need to know about this case of wine. But as we can see here, once we get into the New York Marine Port, we start to see where the case of wine begins to warm up a little. It gets into the 81 degree range, which is bad. But luckily, that wine did not cook at this point of the journey. So let's zoom in just a little bit more. And then here, we're starting to see now the case of wine travel across the interstate. We can see that it's Interstate I-80 on the way to Chicago. We can see a stop here. Now, all of a sudden, the case of wine is into Ohio. The temperature still looks good. And then we see here, at this point, changes. We're starting to see a little bit of a heat blip, as this case of wine is in the back of a truck and as that professional driver sits at a Love's traffic stop overnight. But luckily, it didn't get to the 90 degree range and it didn't cook the wine. But at the next stop, as we see, this increases in intensity. We can see that, unfortunately, this case is a very expensive wine. And as it sets in the distribution center of a wine distributor, this wine began to heat up pretty rapidly. And we can also see that it was sustained for a pretty long period of time in the upper 80s and the 90 degree range, which effectively cooks this wine. The damages to this wine and the impacts of the taste of this wine to consumers is fatal. So it looks like the issue here at the distribution center was eventually remedied. And when it was remedied, it arrived within a reasonable temperature at Mastra Steakhouse in Chicago, Illinois. But unfortunately, the damage was already done. Those bottles of wine are damaged and will need to be thrown away, potentially costing the wine sellers millions of dollars a year and lost inventory. Other use cases include the ability to measure things like leakage, humidity, CO2, and light with additional sensors. So you can assemble a solution to get a complete picture of the conditions your goods are being exposed to. And with a long battery life of up to 1 year, you can be sure that your items will remain tracked and safe with no battery issues. You can get notifications through your smartphone, phone calls, text messages, or email for that matter, so that you can choose the best method. All in all, it's a great way to guarantee the freshness of your goods and protect your bottom line and your reputation. Are you wondering now if Nanotrack services are reliable and accurate? Well, you'll be happy to know that these devices are designed to be highly precise and reliable in location and temperature tracking. They use multiple technologies to ensure the accuracy of the location data, and they can also be calibrated to account for any potential errors or interference. So you can trust that you're getting accurate and reliable location data when you use Nanotrack services. So, if you're looking for a cost-effective way to track your assets, you should consider Nanotrack services. These little devices are often more affordable than other methods of asset tracking, like manual tracking or using more complex sensors. They're small and lightweight, so they won't add much weight or bulk to your assets, and they're typically low cost, with many options available at a fraction of the price of traditional tracking methods. So again, if you want to keep an eye on your stuff without breaking the bank, Nanotrack Services is worth considering. In summary, Nanotrack Services offers numerous benefits for the wine, food, and pharmaceutical industries, including improved inventory management, authenticity and fraud prevention, supply chain management, food safety and contamination prevention, product tracking, quality control, and counterfeit drug prevention. By implementing Nanotrack services, companies can improve their operations, reduce waste, and improve product safety and quality. I'd like to close by sharing I appreciate your time and your interest. If you're still wondering how these tiny wonders can revolutionize your asset and supply chain management, we'd love to have a chat with you and talk more, and also I'll possibly help you with your research. Just click the link below, schedule some time to discuss how Nanotrack Services can work its magic for you.